and welcome to Watch Crappens, a podcast about all that crap on Bravo that we just love to talk about. I'm Ben Mandelker, and joining me today is the wonderful and glorious Ronnie Karam. Hi, Ronnie. How's it going?
Well, hello. How are you doing?
You know, I am just great. It's Monday. I'm back in LA. I feel great to be back here. Had a nice morning and ready to dive into Real Housewives of Atlanta. But before we do that, we got 3 shows left on the Mounting Hysteria tour. It's been a wild and great ride so far. So come finish it out with us. May 9th, Emos in Austin. May 10th, the Texas Theater in Dallas. And May 15th, Wise Guys Town Square, Las Vegas. Those are going to be 3 amazing shows. You better be there. If you're in Texas, you better put on your cowboy hat. And you better march right on down to our show and take a seat and enjoy yourself. And if you're in Vegas, no cowboy hat required, but you can still wear one and just come and enjoy yourself as well. So we're going to have a great time. Tickets are at watchwhatcrappens.com. And also go to patreon.com/watchwhatcrappens to get access to our bonus episodes and also our Crappens on Demand feature, which allows you to watch us, not just listen to us. So that's all the fun stuff in store for you.
Great times. All right, let's get into Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 16, Episode 7, Nashville Hold'em.
Nashville. This ain't Texas. That's for true. That's for real because it's Nashville. So we start off with a classic trope from the world of the Real Housewives, which is where the kind of like middle class one who lives in a townhome goes to a car dealership and pretends like they're going to buy a Rolls Royce. So that's
I know. I was like, wow, you're really stretching the imagination here.
Yes.
Okay. This is definitely the Dorit scene of like, ooh, let's go to the Bentley store. Oh. It's like, ma'am, I think you're $11 million in debt, But okay, let's go with it. But they do have enough credit to test drive. So that's saying something because they actually do get to sit in the car. And Britt is one of those annoying people who gets a noisy car and then just sits in it and hits the gas over and over to hear it go. Rah, rah. I have across the street neighbors who do that constantly. I've never wanted to key a car. Like I want to key this fucking car. I want to key this car. Not even key. I want to egg it. I want to key it. I want to save up some poop and just go poop on. I want to poop on their car, and I want to do it right in front of their ring cam so they see me. They're like, there's a crazy old queen across the street. Is he wearing a turban? And why is he pooping on my car?
It might be worth it. It honestly might be.
I think it will be. Will I go to jail? Possibly. Will I make it to the top of the next door feed? You bet your ass I will.
I definitely saw a video over this weekend on Instagram. It was like from someone's ring cam. Someone had like a sports car. And a fox. There was a fox on the block, baby. A fox was sort of walking along, and you know how sometimes animals, they're crazy. They'll just walk on anything. And the fox was on a side thing and then got up on the hood of this sports car and was just walking across the sports car and then just sort of stopped and just shat on the hood and then just kept on going. So maybe you need to get a fox.
That's so funny. That is a Texas animal for sure. That's how animals are here. They look you right in the eye while they poop on your sidewalk. I saw one where it was a freeway shot. It was someone's car cam, and the freeway, a bull ran through the freeway. Jeez. And it was chasing a guy, and it jumped on top of a car and crushed it and then kept running. And the lady just got out of her car. And I love that her first thought, she's like, I'm going to stay here in traffic and just call State Farm. She's calling the cop. It's like, what are you calling the cop on the bull? Aren't going to come for the bull on the freeway. Move your car. If I was in the car behind her, I'd be like, move the fuck over. We still got to get to work, ma'am.
I cannot believe that happened and that someone actually recorded it happening. A bull stomping on a car in traffic.
It was so good. It was good. Okay, so here we go. Britt is at the car dealer shop.
Speaking of bull, let's have Britt talking about how she's going to buy this car.
Yeah. She's like,
oh my God, babe. Remember how you promised me every year you'd get me a new car? Every 2 years you'd get me a new car.
Like, that man won't even get you granite countertops, ma'am. You are still cutting on plastic countertops. Why would you believe him?
Yeah.
Why?
It's not going to happen. He kind of has the energy of Greg from The White Lotus. He just sort of looks at her like, really, this is who I wound up with. I guess she'll do. Is like, oh yeah, I promised. She's like,
Yeah, happy wife, happy life.
he's like, yeah, well, okay, fine. He is not about this charade. Like she was like,
Honey, we have to shoot a scene where I pretend to buy a luxury car.
he's like, but I just got you a Toyota.
No, we have to pretend we're getting a luxury car.
So he's like there standing in the lot like, I could be home watching football.
Yeah. And instead, they're checking out a Ferrari F8 Tributo, price $458,000. That is $457,000 more than this lady has, and we all know it. And she's like, "Oh,
Can you hear sex in the engine?
oh my god, it's on TV. He put Sex in the Engine on TV. Fire it."
I don't hear sex in the engine. I hear annoying ass person in my neighborhood in the engine. That's what I hear.
I hear douchebaggery in the engine. That is what I hear as well.
That's what I.
So she's like,
Oh, I had a rough couple of weeks. I mean, I couldn't get out of bed. I was crying so hard.
okay, your victim storyline's over.
You had your episode.
I've declared it over. I no longer feel for you. It's over. I felt for you last week. It's done now. It's expired.
Yeah. I kind of agree as well. Like, I think it's really shitty what Kenya did, like deeply, thoroughly shitty, but I'm kind of like, okay, it's been, you've had an episode. You had a week.
Listen, I can feel for somebody and also feel this. Shut up. Okay. Just shut up. So we see Drew goes to Angela's now, and Angela's like, oh, wow. Oh, wait, no, Britt, I'm sorry, Britt has a good quote here. So she's still going, she lifts her leg up and she's like,
If you can't fuck in the car, you shouldn't buy the car.
I go, okay.
Well, that's
Another reason I don't want to work at a Kia dealership.
I was gonna say maybe not a great endorsement for Coop. So
see all these soccer moms just like, honey, can we fuck in this? Let's try it. Like, no, ma'am. Please pull your leggings up, ma'am. Okay,
So
pull
much
your
for smart
leggings up.
cars.
This is a Kia dealership.
But I saw Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Put your fucking pants back on, ma'am. Okay.
So then Drew goes over to Angela's. Now, and I've been trying to do Angela's voice literally all week. And every time I think I've got it, this is where I wound up at home Angela. I don't know why I closed my nose for that. I'm just used to doing Brit. Like, I can't do Angela's voice at all. Angela may be my new Candy. Like, because she has like a bubble in her throat, but she also has this sort of like slow drawl that I think is like really enchanting. Because like no matter, even if she's mad, she'll be like, no, don't slow. I don't know. I can't do it. Her voice is a little bit of like a white whale for me. Is that what they call it? A white whale? A Moby Dick?
I think it's, I mean, I've heard of the Moby Dick, you know, like that's your great Moby Dick and you're the Ahab chasing it through the ocean.
She just has that bubble voice. You know?
Yeah,
Anyway.
I don't know how to do it either. So I'm not even going to try. So basically, Drew goes over to her house and Drew's carrying around this little purse that's shaped like, I don't know, like a margarita. Oh, a Cosmo. It's the Judith Lieber Cosmo clutch. And it's $5,975. I don't believe this either.
I don't
Who'd you
believe
get
it.
that? That's a Temu purse.
It's Marshall's.
That is a team. By the way, congratulations to me. I just won $400 on Temu. Unfortunately, I have to check out within 29 minutes. So
Oh, wow.
good luck.
That's huge. So so they're settling in and everything, and Angela's like, by the way, Drew, I'm gonna have to let you know, I spoke with Marcus and he said you guys are not related. And Drew's like, oh, I said that as a joke. And we get a flashback that Angela is apparently talking about Marcus Jordan, sometimes Bravo star. And we see a flashback to last week when Drew said, you know that Michael Jordan is my cousin? Yeah, my maiden name is Drew Jordan. And I'm very happy because I feel like normally you're the great predictor on this show. I feel like I was really, really outspoken about predicting that this was a blatant lie, that Drew Jordan is not related to Michael Jordan. I just said it. I think I said it. I hope I said it. I at least internally
Yeah, we didn't
thought it.
believe that shit. Yeah,
And I
not
was
that one
like,
of us believe that.
This
but
is
yeah.
this is a lie, Drew Jordan. And
It's
it
clearly
was
a lie.
clearly a lie.
It's so much of a lie. I can't believe Michael Jordan didn't come out and say, "Nuh-uh."
Yeah. And then when now Angela calls her out on it, and now she's like, oh, that was a joke. You know, that was a joke, because my mom was like, it was probably a cousin. It's like, Drew, you were caught. Angela caught you.
Yeah.
You tried to make an NBA lie to someone who's married to an NBA person.
So Angela, is talking about, it's been a rough couple of days, peace brunch. It was a sour lemonade. Food was only halfway cooked. And Drew's like, oh no, not the food halfway cooked.
She's like, those grits still needed some cooking. So then we go back. Now we go to Kelly's. And Kelly's with her sister, Camilla. And okay, so Kelly's dog, Cha-Cha. So last week, you were talking about the dog. And I for whatever reason, I didn't notice her dog. But this week, wow, that dog, it looked like it had been to a car wash and doused with dye. I was like, what is happening with this little dog here? And we get a lot of close-ups of this dog. It is really, I've never seen a dog like this.
Yeah, the dog has too much going on. And I think it's Jewel too. So she's like, oh yeah, my dog is died. And the reason is because my dog ran away. And so it scared me, and so now I have to have a very recognizable dog. Okay. But your dog wasn't stolen.
No, she said it was stolen.
It was stolen. The dog was stolen. Okay. Sorry. I thought it ran away.
So she's basically like, the dog was stolen. And so now I have a dog that no one will ever be able to like a dog that won't just blend in. Like, it's like, that's Kelly's dog, which I'm like, okay, well, I sort of see that. I also feel like there's got to be a better way. Can you just put like a chip, something like a GPS tracker on the collar or something like that?
Yeah, put an AirTag on the damn dog. You know what I mean? Or the little thing, the little rice thing you put in their neck. They have that.
You don't have to make your dog look like, Cyndi Lauper's hair in 1982.
Yes, that is what, and I think, doesn't it look like the dog is also bejeweled? It looks like she's like glued jewels to the dog.
It was wearing like a sweater of some sort. It looked like something was going on with it. It was so, I couldn't even process it, but it was just a strange looking dog. And the fact that like the explanation for it was because she was stolen. I was like, of course, it's the most melodramatic response, like backstory to all those ridiculous hair dye.
Yeah. And she's like, well, the police were involved in this, and we ended up finding the dog on Craigslist. And when I got her back, I said, no one will ever get Cha-Cha again. She will be so hideously ugly. Not even a drag queen will steal this dog. Okay. It's over the top, even for a drag queen. And she's like, and we did what we had to do. And don't worry, all the colors are vegan and animal cruelty free. They're not cruelty free to the dog, and that's an animal. And I'm like, the producer called her out. The producer was like, oh yeah, nice that you're saying vegan and animal cruelty free while you're wearing a fur. And she's like, oh.
She doesn't even say, oh, this is fake. She's just like, ha, 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 ha. She just looks down. Because apparently real fur is back in. People are wearing real fur again. And it's like, that's like the trend for 2025. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Who would have guessed in 2025? So then Portia is talking to Kelly. And she's like, so what happened when you went to the peace brunch? And Kelly's like, well, Drew and Angela walked in and they were already team twirl. So Britt, she was already in defense mode. And, because she's dealing with a lot of things on the blogs, as am I, but mine are more waffle related. So it's much easier to process or to digest, if you will. It's a little joke.
So then we go back to the car dealership, and Britt, she just cares about the rims. She's like, I like the rims on that car. And so now they're talking about the peace brunch. And she's like,
I didn't appreciate Angela. Like, she says that she knows about insurance. Like, how does she know about insurance? She doesn't know what's going on with me. I'm under investigation.
Yeah, but you were also caught lying because you said that they took your license. And then when you were confronted on it, you said, oh, no, I'm only being investigated. So you already got caught in a lie, ma'am. I watched it again to make sure. Liar. You're already a liar. So I don't care about you. I don't believe you. You're just a stupid liar, and I don't care. And you're not being, I don't even care if you're being investigated. And if you are being investigated, maybe it's for something shadier, which is maybe what Angela is alluding to. Like, are you using this to cover up for whatever fraud investigation's already going on? Madam.
Here's what I can see happening. Okay, now I don't understand the ins and outs of the insurance industry. I do know that they're very straight-laced, and they're, it is a serious industry. But what I can imagine happen is that, like, this whole thing, when it happened, there were headlines about it, and so Britt wound up, in the spotlight a little bit. She was in the blogs. And I can imagine that then her suddenly higher profile maybe surfaced something, like it made her land on the radar of some people at the insurance agency. And they're like, oh, she's an insurance agent. Let me look her up. This is funny. Like, wow, I can't believe this agent that I deal with all the time is in this scandal. And they're like, wait a second. That's like an unpaid something or another, or that's an improper something or another. Like, I can imagine that it led to something. Her higher profile may have led to something. Of course, this is speculation because there's no indication whatsoever that she has done anything wrong or not paid bills or not done anything. So I'm not saying that she's being shady, but it would make sense if she was under investigation, more that not that she'd be under investigation because she gave a guy a blowjob when she was, 19 or whenever it was, but maybe because the high profile nature of this stupid scandal then surfaced something that looked a little weird in her record in terms of professionally. That's all I can imagine.
It's time for a commercial. It's time for a Crappens commercial. So I Googled Britt Eady insurance fraud just to see what would come up.
And it's much faster than my explanation.
I don't think it's much faster because it's long. Because, of course, where did it lead me to? Reddit. Where else? The Bible of Truth, Reddit. So someone made a post 14 days ago. It said, Britt Eady's insurance company, ? Melty face. You know the face that's like melting? It's like, aww. Not that long ago, I was reading some article from the Real Housewives discussion, and they had a link to Britt Eady's insurance company. Now, let me tell you something. I wasn't expecting much, but I wasn't expecting this little either. My dad owns one of the biggest law firms in the world, that handles insurance, so I do have some knowledge. When you go on her website, you're first greeted with a video of Britt where she literally says absolutely nothing about what her business does, just a ton of empty promises about sign up now and you'll grow your business. Well, unless you count her repeatedly saying things such as, I'm going to help you find your way / map out your blueprint, but then tell you nothing about how I will achieve it. So
is that what
she's basically selling lessons. So it doesn't even look like an insurance agency. It's like she's selling women empowerment lessons, and she's got a picture of a mansion and she's got a picture of a G-Wagon and it says, what you will learn,
how to break into the industry, how to determine which side of the industry is right for you, why being an insurance agent is also lucrative.
And there's like 20 bullet points. And then it says included online courses, access to my funding team, opportunity to open your own agency with my affiliate program, app access to the community on the go, inserts of Britt Eady's original business plan. What? Britt's insurance playbook ebook, special discounts on future offers, downloadable worksheets, and bonus content. So I don't know what the fuck's going on. I guess she's selling like Brit empowerment courses. And you too can get a internet picture of a G-Wagon on your insurance site. Dun, dun, dun.
An insurance masterclass. Yeah, I'm on the site and yeah, I don't know. It looked on her LinkedIn said that she was an Allstate agent until 2023. I don't know. I also feel listen, we've been at this. This isn't our first time at the rodeo, and we know when people have their websites and they flaunt their G-Wagons and everything on the Real Housewives shows. We know that usually the bottom falls out at some point. So we'll just wait and see where the cracks are, etc. But I just wouldn't be
But
surprised.
she says, if you're interested, I stumbled upon the insurance industry and turned an untapped opportunity into a multi-million-dollar career path. I created a lane with no traffic in it. I took over the game and made a name for myself in an industry that was boring and male-dominated. And now I'm here to teach the game and how I did it.
Wow, she really did a lot with that Allstate gig. She was. Her LinkedIn says she was there from January 2020 to April 2023. So that's I guess she really turned that Allstate. She went from Allstate to All American. Apparently, she really blew it up with that lucrative, that crazy insurance.
Yeah.
Queen.
You can see how she did it for $149, or you can get her insurance playbook for another $149. Look, do I have proof of anything? No, I don't even know what I'm alleging here. But here is what I'm saying. For sure, I know 100%. I do not believe you.
Yeah, it feels something. I just feel like there's more to the story in this situation. And I have a hard time believing that like she'd be under investigation for like revenge porn that Kenya drug up. You know, I think there's more to the story.
So here's what she's giving us this week with Mike, with her scene with Mike. She's saying, you know what's going on with me. You know I'm under investigation. And she tells us this woman came for my career. She's calling me a porn star, an escort, and a fraud. And due to this whole situation at hand, with all these accusations being thrown around, my license is being investigated. And she's like, because being in insurance, there's a lot of red tape. And he goes, yeah, and there's like dealings with the general public. And they don't take very kind to that type of stuff. What the fuck does that mean? There's dealings with the general public and they don't take kindly.
What insurance agencies hate is when their agents deal with the public. That's why insurance agencies are sure to not flood us with commercials, make sure there's very few billboards, and they just don't like to reach out for new clients. That's famously what insurance is all about.
And she's saying she went through a very hefty background check. She's like,
they wanted me to be squeaky clean.
Okay, but then how was this other? This is crazy. So then she says, and Angela lacks empathy, and I thought she was a girl's girl, and now I'm like, I can't trust you, bitch. So what if I bring up all the things I heard about you? Because I heard about her husband had a baby on her, and I'm not over here worrying about what you're doing in your personal life. And they ask where she heard that. But I love that she's like, you know what? Someone slandered me. That was, by the way, not Angela at all. Angela was actually supportive of her. So I'm going to slander somebody else in revenge. Like, what the fuck kind of thing is that?
Yeah. When all Angela said was like, wait, you lost your license? How did you lose? How did that happen? And then, so she's saying because Angela questioned her on that front, she is now going to say, well, I guess also that she met with Kenya first. I think that was the real bone of contention. She's like, okay, well, here's my response to that is I'm going to create a whole lie that your husband has a baby with someone else, which is more of like, that's actually more of a destructive lie if you ask me, because that's actually like could ruin a family.
But maybe it's true.
It could be true, but like either way, I kind of feel like that's a really outsized response to what Angela did.
Yeah, but even if it is true, which it probably is, I mean, I think it's true just because I've read it too. So if I've read it on the internet before, then I assume it's true. I don't know if it's true, but if it is true, so was the stuff about her doing stuff online as evidenced by pictures. It doesn't make it right to out it like that on TV. So she's just proven that it's okay. Like, so it's okay because you haven't seen pictures of whatever. So only she sucks.
Right. She didn't like take a lesson from this and say what was done to me was so hard that I would never do that to someone else. She's like, what was done to me was hard. And now
I'm going to do it to somebody else. Yeah. Not even the person that deserves it.
Now, admittedly, there is a difference between, sort of coyly or maybe not so coyly announcing a rumor versus like having pictures of you like giving a blowjob being paraded around on poster board at like a public event. That is a way different kind of embarrassment. So I'm not going to
but that's also not what Angela did to her. Yeah. So like it's not even a comparison, because if we're going to compare what they actually did to each other, Angela did nothing to her. And she's going to do this to Angela now. She sucks. She's
Angela
just
just like
monster.
challenged
I mean,
her
I get what
lightly.
you're saying. Like the revenge porn, it doesn't change anything about the revenge porn being horrible for Britt. But that's what I'm saying. It's just like it doesn't make it it doesn't make it less horrible. But Britt doing this makes Britt more horrible. So,
But the one thing that Britt has done all season is that she's been incredibly fragile with these things. Like even when Kenya went to like give her like a sort of a little hug, and she's like, "That's not a hug. You didn't give me a proper hug." Like everything with her is like, "Oh my God, Britt!" Everything is like is an affront to humanity with her.
Yeah. Yeah, she's an asshole. So then she's like, yeah, so should I bring that up? And she says, well, there's whispers that Charles had a baby on her, and now for you to have so much to say about me, I guess you should be worried about yourself because these rumors don't just fall out of the sky, sweetie. Well, neither does anything that's come out about you. It doesn't make it true or untrue. It just makes you a shitty person for doing this. So then we go back to Angela and Drew, and Angela's like, oh, I thought it was a peace gathering, and I was so ready to receive Britt peacefully and just hear her out, and I just thought she would have been more vulnerable about the whole thing. And Drew's like, yeah, a little more humble. Yeah, Drew.
I just hope that there's some growth. Yeah,
Humility.
Drew Sidora, the humblest one, starting lies about how she's cousins with like the most iconic basketball player of all time. So then Drew is like, speaking of, by the way, she actually Britt texted me and said, I feel like we got off on the wrong foot yesterday. Would you be down to meet me for a drink so that way we can become friends and isolate Angela? And I said, sure. So Angela's like, oh, that sounds like a date. She's like, yeah, well, we'll see. The jury's out. But, we're just going to let her sit right there. And we will see. We will see. Because she is so lucky to be able to sit with recording artist Drew Sidora.
Yeah. So now they move the conversation to Ralph, and Ralph is in the house and she's sick of leaving the house, but she's got a court date, and she and her attorney are trying to convince the judge to keep the case sealed to protect the children from Ralph's horrible behavior. Did we ever find out what was in this? Because they unsealed it, right? So what was it?
I'm assuming it was the stuff that the lawyer said on camera that like maybe it would not have been allowed on camera had it remained sealed. Remember when the lawyer was like, well, he hasn't paid this, he hasn't done this, he hasn't done this, he's been tracking you. Like, I'm assuming that stuff was the stuff that was sealed. This is another fishy area here. I mean, Drew Sidora, every year there's always some amazing half-truths. Because now Drew is saying, like, she's telling us, like, I just don't want the kids to have to read about all of mommy and daddy's fighting, And then she later on, she winds up saying something about how, like, oh, I'm fine. Like, there's nothing for me to be embarrassed about. I just don't want them to find out. Like, she says, it's just more for Ralph. I feel bad for Ralph for people finding it out. Like, no, you have some shit in there that you don't want to come out, and we all know it's Drew. And it's not about Michael.
There's got to be something about Drew in there.
Yeah.
Because
100%.
the rest of it she's put on TV, so it's not like she's kept it completely out of wraps. And we know that children are more likely to watch TV than they are to read. I mean, unless children have changed in some miraculous way. Mm-hmm. So now she's saying, this thing with Portia's interesting because Dennis had a conversation with Ralph early on to get permission, and I had a conversation with Portia, and neither one of them had a problem until now. It's like, now the cameras are up and they want to have a problem.
Right. So now over at Kelly's, Cynthia's there, by the way. Cynthia had a spiel earlier about
I feel
dating.
like so many Cynthia scenes begin this way. Where we're like, oh yeah, Cynthia's there too.
Yeah. Like Cynthia actually had like a whole moment that we just totally just blew past where she was just like, I'm not dating, or I'm not. She just talked about guys in her life, like literally did not have any impact. So Cynthia's like, so Portia, did you make up with you and Drew yet? Portia's like, no, I moved on in a very mature fashion. Very much not old Portia. Yes. Very mature Portia, who later on this episode is going to throw a fit about Drew Sidora coming to
Portia.
to
By
the
that,
cast
Portia
party.
means I have not kicked her in the stomach yet. Okay. That's what Portia means by that. And so she goes, oh, okay, so you guys are good. And she's like,
Well, I wouldn't say good. I mean, you're using beautiful adjectives. Some people, you just realize who they are and you don't let them get close. And clearly, you didn't think that much of our business relationship or our personal relationship. So I'm done.
and okay. I mean, she's working with Dennis. But I think her album did well, I read.
I mean, look, this is one of the rare cases where Portia is being extremely petty. But I kind of back it because I also feel like Drew is a scam artist. So I kind of feel like her instincts are probably correct on this one. Did Drew's album really do well?
I think so.
Wow.
I read that because, I read stuff on the internet, so I believe it.
Well, now that she's worked with Dennis, the hot dog man, maybe her next step is to get a song produced by DJ Mustard. Hey, yo. Hey, yo.
It actually peaked at number 6 on the U.S. iTunes R&B Soul Albums chart, making it her highest charting project on the platform.
Wow.
So, and her song, I Did It To Me. Wow, that's a good Drew song.
It's a song about spilling ketchup on yourself at Costco while having a hot dog. I did it to me.
Second only to her song Tide Stick, reached number 5 on the iTunes R&B chart. So yeah, I mean that did well, right? Damn.
Okay.
Go Drew.
Good for her. Good for Drew.
Let's continue ragging on Drew.
It does not change anything for me, but good for her.
Goodbye.
Portia's saying,
by the way, I want to move on. So my birthday's coming up, and I invited all the girls, and you weren't on that call, actually, by the way, but I had a call. Cynthia, sorry. I knew your phone still doesn't have FaceTime on it. So here's what happened. I said, let's be like Cowboy Carter and like go to Nashville, and it'll just be like a bunch of like bad, beautiful bitches, and like I'm just gonna bring a few other friends.
just like Cynthia's like, who? She's like,
it's my sister Lauren Manetta, Chanel, Amy Provy, Gabby from the Traders. There's someone down the street who I like. Oh, the barista at Starbucks. I'm gonna invite them. Oh, there's an old librarian from my childhood. I reached out to her. Really, just a small group of people.
I love when people do a straight up recasting trial where they're like, I don't like any of these people. I'm gonna bring on all of my friends and hope they just get cast on this show.
I know, and I was fine with it. Although I was like, not Manetta, please, not Manetta.
Oh, I like Manetta. They showed. They showed. It's amazing when no matter what the season and how much we complain about said season of any Housewives show, whenever we see a clip of that season years later, I'm like, oh my God, that was such a good season. So I'm watching Black Mirror, and one of the jokes in Black Mirror is they're on the spaceship, and one of the episodes are on a spaceship, like a Star Trek spaceship, and one of the girls on the ship is obsessed with Real Housewives of Atlanta. So whenever she gets a break, she puts it on the big screen, and it's so fucking funny. And it was a Manetta season. Someone's like, wait a minute, which one is that again? And she's like, oh, this is the one where she gets angry because somebody slams the door in her face. And she goes, really? She goes, it was heavy door. It was very heavy door.
That was Manietta's.
So I'm like, I like Manetta. She's on Black Mirror.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy that she actually got like a featured moment on Black Mirror. That's actually very cool. But I just feel like Manetta is sort of that class of like friend dubs that are like, they're fine, but like they just
Manetta didn't really do much. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember.
Give me a Tanya. Bring back, normalize Tanya coming back. Well, Tanya was not amazing. Let's just say this: Tanya was not amazing, but she
had that Benihana day. Remember, that was fun.
She did.
Yeah, she got bolo shamed though, so she's never coming back here.
Yeah, she's gone.
But there's one point they show Marlo going off about something. She goes, "I love her. I love Marlo. What a bitch."
I think Shamari should come back as a friend of, and I think that was what was proposed at one point. And didn't her husband say like, no, it's either you're full time or nothing? Is that what?
Oh, who knows? Yeah, I think that was the story, but yeah, who knows? Who knows what happened? But anyway, here we are with our new cast, and they're talking about this Nashville trip, and of course, she's not inviting Drew. And so then we see the Zoom call where Portia, Shamia, Angela, Britt, and Kelly are all talking about this trip. And Angela's like, well, but I'm missing my Chicago partner. I need, can I have a +1? And she's like,
for some reason, Angela, your call is the only one on silent.
Like she makes a joke. So which becomes a point of contention soon. So Portia's like, yeah, fuck it. I'm moving forward with peace, but I'm not inviting anybody I don't like to my birthday trip, including her.
Yeah. So, which I get, it's your birthday. Why would you have someone that you don't like? But we also know this is a cast trip, so you're kind of icing someone out of the show, which, we have traditionally never approved of. So we go back to Angela and Drew, and Angela's like, so Portia's birthday trip to Nashville's coming up, and I really would just like to hear this, and so I would like for you to just accept my invitation and come along. And Drew's acting like she's not wanting to do cartwheels across the porch and like raise pom-poms moms will be like, yes, I'm on the gas trip. She's like, oh, well, I don't know. I do love you, but I'm not sure. Drew, you know you want to be there. Stop acting coy.
Yeah, and as we find out later, Drew's got other plans anyway. So she's
Passive aggressive plans, I'd like to add.
Yeah. She's like, I just with energy and how it's been, I just feel like, it would have to come from her. I'm just such an easy person to communicate with. I just don't understand. And meanwhile, Portia's like, yeah, she's a pathological liar.
Yes.
Fuck her,
Pretty much. So then we go back to Britt and Mike, who are still at the car dealership, now in a different car, pretending that they're going to buy, which, by the way, we never see any checks being written or papers being signed. And Britt's like,
Well, as far as the trip is concerned, I feel like it's going to be like a good vibe there. Like, I'm really ready for peace.
which is one of my favorite things that they always say before a trip. Like, literally never in the history of any Real Housewives trip has a trip ever been good vibes. Like, they go on the trips because they know, the producers know it'll create chaos. And every single time they're like, this trip will be a great reset. We're just going to come out as better friends from it. I was like, no, you're going to be traumatized.
Yeah. So now we're catching up with the ladies around town, as we do. Kelly's teaching Chloe how to drive, which thankfully is cut to a 5-second scene. And we do not have to suffer through the whole, I'm teaching my child to drive. Look at my kid trying to parallel park.
Yeah. And then we see a lot of sorry, I was in a different section there. Okay, Shamia is now singing. She's with B Flat, her producer, and she's singing her song because she's going to become a big star. And then Angela's with her kids, and she has made some fries. She made like a little bowl of fries. And Charles was watching and like, wow, like, are you even trying to cook for people? Like, you need to have about 40 times more fries. Like, that's ridiculous.
So she's with her son, and she's talking about how she goes, hey, how's my face doing? And he's like, I've been told you about this. So that was really funny. It's like, I told you. Why would you do this to yourself? And she's like, yeah, when I got my nose job initially, it was just too pinched, but I was advised to get Botox to blow up my nose. And then I did. And then my whole face blew up. And so my kid won't stop making fun of me. And he's like, you look like Yoshi from Super Mario. And we found a fill-in for this show. Finally, a solid, dependable fill-in for Crappens. Yeah.
Yeah, truly. So then Portia, we're at Portia's, and Cynthia comes to visit again because that's all Cynthia does. She just visits. Oh, hey, I kind of just like followed you home from Kelly's house. You want to hang out still? You're still socializing? She's like,
Okay, well, are you ready for Nashville?
it's like, yeah, I got to go on Amazon and find my cowboy hat, which I love that Cynthia's getting her cowboy hat from Amazon. Like most of us would, but I kind of feel like if you're like a Real Housewife, you go to a proper cowboy hat store and get like a nice one. You go to like Kimosabi's of Atlanta, but she's like, no, I'm getting my $15 one from Amazon.
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
So she's like, if you'd have told me 6 months ago that you and this man would be going through this, I'd be like, wow, Portia, that's about 5 times as long as I've ever lasted with a man without having any kind of drama. So good for you.
Yeah, I wake up every morning and I feel shocked that this whirlwind romance is falling apart.
And Cynthia's like, yes, my favorite hashtag was be his piece. Hashtag be his piece.
It went from be his piece to, can you give me some peace? God damn it. Which is longer. It's a longer hashtag, but still. And Portia's like, yeah, give me the piece. And so then we go to Cafe Belly. And Drew and Britt sit for their lunch. Dun, dun, dun. Now, I'd just like to point out that we know Drew is going to try it at this lunch because she has worn a life-size crucifix. Okay. So let's see what Pastor Drew tries to pull out today.
So she first says that she was really happy that Britt reached out. And she's like, you did come in really hot at the peace brunch. And she's like, well,
I was like, nobody wanted to hear how I felt.
I was like, how could they not? Like, it's all you were doing. It was like,
What about me?
so then Britt is saying that she's just like hoping to be positive, and that's what she was trying to do at the peace brunch. But Drew was defending Kenya, so she had like no patience for that.
Yeah, because she said at the brunch, I understand how she felt being threatened with a weapon. She's going to protect herself. So Britt's like,
I'm the one who was publicly humiliated. Where's my support?
she goes, okay, I get that. But I'm going to be honest. You were just very much like, okay, Kenya's no longer going to be here. And I mean, I get that too. Like the newbie of the cast being like, here's how casting's going to work. She's out,
Yeah.
So they're kind of trying to stand up for Kenya in that regard.
And I
Like,
think that
come
they're kind of
on.
like mourning in a weird way. This sounds weird. I think they're kind of mourning Kenya, like sort of the way we all did, which is like, wow, Kenya, you're so good at this. How could you do this? Like, you're so much better than this. And you're so good at being the villain. Like the fact that you had to like resort to this like hideous stunt, like you're better than that. You can do better. And it's kind of like, oh, like the way we're all kind of like, oh, whether you like or hate Kenya, you still kind of like, I think most people kind of hold space for her being kind of like, an excellent villain. And when you see someone who's just is so good at doing the one thing that they do and then they fail at it, you're like, that's too
Well,
bad.
there's
That's
also
so
the
bad.
element of like, here we are, we just rebooted a show, and now you're getting rid of the biggest star of the show. So
And
what the
that
fuck
too.
are you doing, lady? Like, what the
And that
fuck do you
too.
think you're doing? So Drew's like, it just felt a little celebratory, and I just think we were all taken aback. Like, I'm getting to know you, but I'm just trying to understand you. And she's like,
Well, I've always been an open book, and if there's anything you want to ask, I have no problem answering it.
so she goes, okay. So did you ever sell it? She's like, what? She goes, the cat. Did you ever sell the cat? And she goes,
No, I have never sold cats.
okay. Have you ever done pornography with your cat?
I've never fucked cats on camera.
Have you ever done pornography while listening to the soundtrack of Cats?
Well, I haven't done pornography in the first place, so.
But I had listened to cats while I blew people for money on camera. Is that what you mean?
I did once bang a guy who did call himself Mr. Mistopheles. I never really understood it until this moment.
Okay, so then she says, no, I've not. Excuse me, I have not done. I can't even talk. Okay, so she gets flustered, right? So she's like, yeah,
I mean, never, ever, cat, what? Meow.
okay, so I've not done porn, but I have done webcam. Okay, now, I've seen a few webcams in my day. Is that considered porn? They were definitely doing porny things on there, not to out myself.
I think like, I don't want to be a prude or anything, but like
I'm not being a prude. I've looked at webcams.
No, I know.
I'm certainly not a prude.
I'm like, I kind of think webcam is porn. Like, and I don't have it. And I say that with no judgment. I'm like, but I think it counts. But
I
we
say
have
as a full
different
supporter of porn.
gradations. What'd you say?
I say as a full supporter of porn, I think that you do porny stuff on webcam. I think that would be considered porn.
think
I
it
don't know.
falls
Does there
under
need to be like a
umbrella.
studio involved? I just don't know how it works.
I mean, look, it's not going to be shown on Disney Plus, right? I think that like,
Well, you never know. They change their things. Now you're an adult and they show you a Nora. I mean, they might as well show you. I was like, wow, how can I watch Mufasa and a Nora? Like, why are these things listed right by each other? What a weird time
I was
we're
talking
living
to my friend Susan, and I said, "Let me go and watch some classic Beauty and the Beast." And there's a Nora right there with the Erica Jane song. No, I mean, like, I know there's different like tiers of porn, and that's fine. I don't know, but I think again, it's just like one of those things where you just, I don't know. It feels like she's being.
It's one of those. Look, I feel like you shouldn't be shamed for it either way, whether it's webcam or whether it's porn. I'm just confused. Like, why is one considered porn and the other's not? So she's like, and I did it with my friend that's a woman, and basically we were just on there naked, like having conversations. So okay, so she's like, but as far as intercourse or doing anything explicit, I've never done that. It's just like conversational naked. I was like, how'd you make money from that?
Well, listen, people pay for a lot of things, and if your kink is watching a naked lady just chat, then hey, it's like voyeuristic, I suppose. I mean, look, people pay for Larsa Pippen, so every pot has a lid.
I guess
lids
so,
are-
and a lot of pots just need lids. Just put
Some
a
lids are-
lid on it. Okay.
Some lids are a little harder to explain than other lids, but a lid is a lid is a lid.
So she tells us she only did webcam for a week in her 20s because her and her best friend were like, oh, this is fun and daring and spicy. And she's like, and I'm not ashamed of it. So for women to shame me is kind of like, you guys probably did worse than what I did. And Britt's like, so did you say at Shamia's that you knew the recipient of this dick sucking incident? So this is another big controversy that's been going on online. Supposedly Ming Lee, do you know who she is? Ming Lee supposedly had dated people, common people, and that's where this footage came from. But then Ming Lee is denying it, saying, that did not come from me. Leave me alone. So that's what's going on off the show. But apparently, Drew, I didn't even hear Drew say that she's like, well, I might have known that dick who got sucked. So she's like, did you say that you knew the recipient of this dick sucking incident? Which is a great sentence. Did you say at the get together at Shamia's that you knew the recipient of this dick sucking incident?
Drew was like, it was Michael Jordan, my cousin. She just said,
and Drew goes,
may.
No, I said I may. I said I may. And you know when Drew's lying when she starts squealing. She's like,
and when she does her tilt, like she's like in a billboard for like a diner or something, like come to Drew Sidor's diner. I don't know.
And she says that she got a DM from the person whose it was, but she doesn't know for sure. And she goes, I mean, well, on the poster board, there were people, and I thought I recognized one of the people on the poster board. And she goes,
Oh, wait, so you recognize the dick. So does that mean that you sucked the dick?
and she goes, no, I didn't even know it was from him, if it was his dick. And she goes,
But why would you point that out there to the girl?
so
What is Drew talking about?
I love this show. I love that Drew saw a dick, was like, I know that dick.
Yeah, I recognize that dick. And then I got a DM from the person potentially whose dick it belonged to. And why is this person DMing Drew to be like, guess what? I heard you may have seen my dick recently. I want to confirm it was my dick if that was what you saw. But if you didn't see it, then it wasn't my dick. Like what? Like who's gonna? Why Drew Sidora? Like that's the person that you're gonna go for?
Oh my gosh. I'm looking things up on the internet. That's terrible. I've been doing nothing but searching Google for this.
Well, we've been doing a lot of like there's been a lot of like cross checking we've had to do this episode. We need like
so was it Rick Ross? Because I looked up past dating people for Britt Eady, and one was Rick Ross, and
they
then
talked about that on the show. Right?
Okay, and then I looked, but I didn't want to make a mistake. So then I put Rick Ross, Ming Lee, and it says, did Ming Lee date Rick Ross? Yes, beauty influencer Ming Lee was in a relationship with rapper Rick Ross. Oh. So I guess that's the gossip, that was his wiener, and she got the wiener on her phone and had her phone. She tweeted something like, I have all my iPhones since 2012 saved up. So they're like, okay, so did she pull this from her iPhone and then give it to the cast, and then the cast is using it against Britt? And then that's why Drew is saying, I recognize that dick. That's so confusing. I'm sorry, I read too much Reddit, but there's...
So Rick Ross DM Drew Sidera. Like Rick Ross, who's like a successful and famous musician, is like, you know what? I heard that my dick has been put on a poster. Let me go tell Drew Sidora privately. Rick Ross doesn't care.
Yeah, I don't know. None of this is probably even true. This is just what the internet's been talking about. Okay, so now Drew's like, yeah, I just recognized the dick on the poster board, I think, maybe. And she goes, but why would you put that out there to the group? And she's like, oh, I like to joke. Just made a basket like my cousin. And Britt's like, I've just been
The one publicly humiliated, so tell me, Drew, where's the joke? And she goes, could you put yourself in my shoes? Imagine everything you worked for is overshadowed by someone accusing you of being a whore and a fraud.
I'm like, welcome to Real Housewives. That's just your first step on the show is that you get called a whore and a fraud. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter your
5-minute one and done scene on Real Housewives of New York classic. Okay,
that's just your initiation process. You get called a whore and a fraud. And then you say, okay, yeah. I'm not. Moving on.
And Drew's like, well, I'm living that, though. I've been in the flogs. My character's been compromised. And here, listen, all of these things, to hear them about you, I said, who is this girl? But I am sorry. My heart goes out to you and what you're dealing with. Do you have a copy of that poster board anyway? Those really good poster board. Life-sized.
We're trying to build a billboard for my new album. Just trying to assemble all the materials as possible. So Drew says, people have attacked my marriage, destroyed my character, and it hurts. I'm sorry, Drew. You cannot compare yourself to this girl who just got like revenge porn. I know it does suck when people talk about your marriage, but also like you have a scam marriage. It's kind of, so she's like, so I understand how Britt feels. We all can be wrong at times. We're not always going to agree, but at least we can come together and resolve our issues. So going forward, in order for Britt and I to be friends, she will be living in my basement also.
So they do that fakey bakey Real Housewives thing. We're like, oh my God, we're going to be friends now. And they do the whole, hey, we're friends.
Congratulations, you've reached the end of part 1 of a 2-part recap. For part 2, go look for the recap that says part 2. See you over there, suckers.
Watch what Crappens would like to thank its premium sponsors. Ain't no thing like Allison King.
Our way is the Amber way.
It's the Foster and the Furious. It's Amanda Foster. It's always automatic with Ashley Auto.
Ashley Savoni, she don't take no baloney.
Put your hands together for Carly Clapp. Catherine DiBernardo has our Hardo.
Get on the right foot with Chrissy Offutt. Dana C. Dana Do. She's not just a Sheila, she's a Daniela. Etchels.
We never miss her call. It's Diane Call.
Erin McNicholas, she don't miss no trickolas.
Hava Nagila Weber.
You'll never hide from Heidi Eleanor Jones. I go, you go, we all go for Hugo. Jamie, she has no last namey. We could all learn from Jennifer Kearns.
She's our kind of mess. It's Jennifer Messer.
Sipped some scotch with Jessica Trotch.
Knock, knock, knocking on Katie Mannock's door. She's our favorite streamer, Caroline Peacock.
Kristen the Piston Anderson.
Get a bee in your bonnet with Lacey B.
Bringing the funk, it's Leslie Plunkett.
She gets an A from us. It's Lindsay D.
Let's give a kisserino to Lisa Lino.
Fresh as a daisy, it's Maisie McHenry. We love her on the rocks. It's Melissa Cox.
Megan Berg. You can't have a burger without the Berg.
This is Livin' with Michelle Vivian.
I love ya, Olivia Williamson. Tastier than Flanderson, it's Rachel Manderson.
She sure is swell. It's Raquel.
Yes, we canna, it's Savannah.
Cast a spell with Shannon Spellman. Let's share with Sharon Eldridge. The Bay Area Betches. Betches.
And our super premium sponsors.
She's VVIP, it's Amanda V. Can't lose when you're with Amy Baldwin.
Somebody get us 10 cc's of Betsy MD.
We're taking the gold with Brenda Silva.
Let's get real with Caitlin O'Neill.
Don't get salty with Christine Pepper. Can't have a meal without the Emily Sides.
Let's go into the woods with Guy Tubbs.
Who, what, why, where, and Gwen Pentland.
It's our queen, it's Queen Laifah.
Nobody holds a candle to Jamie Kendall.
Know your worth with Jason Kurth.
We got our wish, it's Jen Plish. She's not harsh, she's Jill Hirsch. She's a little bit loony. Junie. My favorite Murdo, Karen McMurdo.
She gets an A, it's Kelly B.
We love him madly, it's Kyle Pod Shadley. We're ride or die for Lisa Ryder Barron. She's a whiz, it's Liz Sarthy. Always killing it, it's Lola Alkalani.
The incredible edible Matthews sisters.
She eases our woes, it's Melissa St. Rose.
We're on the floor with Molly Dorsett.
Give him hell, Miss Noel.
There's a chance of meatballs, it's Rebecca Cloud.
She's the queen bee, it's Sarah Lemke. Shannon, out of a cannon, Anthony. Let's take off with Tamla Plain.
It's always a good time when you're wasting time with Bravo.
She ain't no shrinking Violet Kuchar. We love you guys.